therapist as well. I am a program director here in DC, and I do consulting for nonprofits.
My name is Gary Trey Taylor. I'm also a therapist as well. Own and operate of Uphold 3180, which is a consulting agency dedicated to educating African American communities around mental health and giving them resources and education and those things of that nature.
So this panel is very important in regards to entrepreneurship because as far as mental health, sometimes we don't take care of ourselves, especially as Black people. We're very busy. We have a lot of things going on. We have so many things that we need to, to work on, to discuss, and to make sure that everything's in tip-top shape when it comes to running our business. That sometimes we don't have the opportunity to take care of ourselves. So that's why this panel is very important. That we're able to figure out why we don't take care of ourselves and how we can do that, take care of ourselves in the future. So, I'm gonna read a question here, and then if any of my panelists can just go ahead and jump in. So our first question is, how important is it to take care of yourself as an entrepreneur?
Funny enough, we were just actually on the panel talking about this question, how most of us who are entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, or have had their company for some time, we talked about tiers. You're at the phase where you're just now able to quit your job and now do that full time and you feel like you made it and you won, but you have all the pressures in the world still making you feel like you're nowhere. And it's a confusing state. And so there's like the second tier where you're able to quit your job and make money, but you're realizing that you're a one-man band and the struggle is real, right? And so you're like, how did I get this far? And I've done all this, and I'm supposed to feel accomplished, but I don't. And that's a real place. And I think it's something that we have to take a close look at when we're trying to strategize our process of becoming an entrepreneur, being a Black entrepreneur, and understanding what business means to us first, in addition to how we want to relay that in terms of our message and our brand out to the world to feel complete about what we're doing. And I think it's very, very important to just process that all together so that you can find the space you're supposed to be in for you and not necessarily traveling down someone else's path, because that's where we get lost.
I'll add that when you said about the process, I think the process is so real because as entrepreneurs, and just like the panel that was speaking before about branding, you're constantly on social media and you're comparing yourself to so many individuals. I mean, like he said, the tiers, I still work full time, so it's like running your own business and working full time, you're still processing so much. And in order to process, you have to do some self-care and you have to sit with yourself and think. And really own who you are and embrace it. So I think the process is the most important.
And I think one of the major things is, even outside of being an entrepreneur, we have to understand that we're people. So we have to take care of our mental health regardless of who you are. Because that's one thing that we don't actually focus on, and we need to process those things, live within your own means and live within your own lane, and be able to address when things are wrong. And be able to acknowledge those things when they're wrong as well. And if you don't have the ability to address them, get help to get the help to address those skills. So.
And these panelists made all great points, so I've got to follow up behind all of that. But I would say that it's important because, I'm probably in the same boat as most of you guys, like Christian said. I'm still working my full time and doing my business as brand. But in order to have a successful business or strive in your business to be successful, you have to understand self-care. And if you're pouring out to clients constantly on a daily basis, having contracts, how will you be able to pour out of an empty cup? So you have to make sure that your cup is full and people are pouring back into you just as much as you're pouring back into them.
Okay. So,
You said it, bring the heat, man.
no, I thought that was funny because I think we had a conversation before where you brought that up, so that's the reason why I was laughing. But all right, so let's define emotional intelligence. That's the name of this actual panel, is emotional intelligence. Can you tell everybody what that means to you?
Sure. Emotional intelligence, I like to use a phrase or a word called metacommunications. Everything that's going on around you, sometimes without words. What's not being said, how things are being perceived, how it's making you feel. It's having the wherewithal to be able to know how to, within yourself, be okay and actually process all the things that are going around you. For example, for those of you who are being entrepreneurs and still working, you're on your job trying to figure out when your last day is going to be, but you can't quit yet, right? But you know that in the back of your mind, you're doing this process so you can gain the capital. You can build, save, make that seed investment, or whatever, but somebody in your job you don't like, someone doesn't respect you, your value for who you are, you're waiting for that day, you're stuck in that place of wanting to quit but can't quit, and you still got to do it. All right, that's the place right there. I think that's that emotional intelligence. To define it is being aware of knowing that that exists. You can't ignore that because that's going to depict how you respond to that environment, so you can stay on that job to keep making your money to ultimately get to that goal. So just be mindful of that term again I mentioned, metacommunication. What's not being said. All right, the 97% of all nonverbal communication that's happening in the world, and how that affects you in your processing every day.
Emotional intelligence for me is learning who you are. Because a lot of times we have a lot of people and a lot of different influences that are telling us we should be this type of person or we should be doing these type of things. Even to tell you what you should be happy about or what you should be sad about. No, but if you have emotional intelligence, you think about yourself from the inside out. And being able to say that, oh, this person pisses me off. Or you say that, I don't like doing these types of things. And being able to be comfortable with that and not just going about just because other people are saying that you should be able to do those things. I know for me, one of the hardest things is to learn yourself, but then also be able to accept who you are. So I think that's something that emotional intelligence should encompass.
And I would add to that because I definitely agree with knowing who you are, but also being aware of who you are and aware of how you react to things, because you can be in your job and you can hate somebody and life can be stressing you out, but you cannot react in a way where you're showing emotions because you're not an expert anymore. Now you fail at what you do, right? So you have to be aware of how you react to things because everybody is looking at you and perceiving you a certain way. So I definitely would just say being emotionally aware and emotionally stable within yourself, and that is the hardest thing to do because we are emotional people and emotional beings.
I define it in a way whereas understanding how we deal with certain stressors. With my agency, I always define mental health as, in the simplest form, as how we deal with day-to-day life stressors. So, again, it took y'all some type of mental health to get up and come to this panel today, and we appreciate you guys coming and coming to this retreat, but it took some form of mental health to do so. Maybe tired, you were sleepy, you might went out last night, got lit, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But somewhere in your mind, in your mental space, you say, well, I'm tired physically. I don't feel like really going right now, but I'm up here, I'm paying my ticket. All this traffic up here, I'm gonna go. So understanding your emotions is, I think, understanding how you deal with your different stresses in the day-to-day. Understanding what pisses me off, or what angers me, what upsets me, what makes me sad, what makes me happy, what makes me, prideful, what makes me understanding all those different emotions and actually either changing the behaviors or being normal with your behaviors, like Rashawn said, understanding that's me. I'm cool with that, but I'm gonna remove myself from it. So I think that's how I define emotional intelligence.
So this is